So I've been hearing a noise from the car that sounds like a boost leak. So today what we're going to do is build a tester and find out where that is. There aren't too many things you need to build something to be able to test the boost leak. First thing you're going to need is an air compressor. That's going to be your source of the pressurized air to feed into your charge pipe in your system. You'll also need an air fitting. Mine is the air fitting for the line by a 1/4 NPT. And the correct tap for your fitting. Again, mine is a 1/4 NPT, so I have a 1/4 NPT by 18 tap. You'll also need some thread sealant. This will make sure that you're not leaking through the fitting. You can use a PVC end cap. These are cheap and you can find them pretty much at any hardware store. For instance, I have a 5-inch inlet on my S475, so I got a Schedule 40 4-inch end cap. That means this inner diameter is big enough to slip on the end of Schedule 40 4-inch PVC. So by the time you have that diameter plus the Schedule 40 thickness, you're at about close to 5 inches. So that works perfect. And the last thing you'll need is a silicone coupler. This just allows us to go from the PVC to the inlet of the turbo and have a good seal. So first we're going to start off by drilling the PVC end cap. Now that we have that drilled, it's time to tap it. Being that it's a tapered thread, you may have to tap it a couple of times to make sure that you're actually getting the depth that you need, because you could essentially have threads all the way through it, but if the taper isn't all the way down far enough to reach the diameter of the adapter, you'll need to tap it further down. Just like you'll have on here. There, that'll fit. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add some sealant tape to the end of the adapter. And then thread it into your PVC end cap. Well, after a lot of messing around with it, I finally got that sucker on there. Let's see what we can control for boost. So we ran into a snag. What's happening is where I put the fitting, I can't connect the air to. That was dumb. So what we're going to do to fix it is use this quarter NPT plug, put that where I had my original hole, and I will drill another hole in the end of the side here. That way it will make it up and out of the car. So let's try round 2. So one thing you'll make sure you want to do is regulate the outgoing pressure from the compressor. You don't want to go ahead and throw 80 pounds into your system to try and test for a leak. Start with 4 or 5 pounds and slowly increase it until you find the leak that you need. How you can do that on something simple like this is just turning this dial down. This is your pressure for the tank, and this is your regulated pressure outgoing to the system. Now we'll hook it up and see where there's a leak at. So, from testing that out, what I was able to find just from the compressed air going through was I have a small boost leak here at this flange. This has an O-ring seal. It's kind of like a V-band clamp, but there's also an O-ring in there, and that could have maybe come out of its groove or just not in there properly. And I had one more here. But this intake pipe, I think I just have it at too steep of an angle. And I'm getting a little bit of a leak here. So I'm going to make those adjustments and then give it a test again. That could be the issue. Check this out, guys. My aluminum pipe has a big dent in it. That could cause a leak. Wow. So, I guess we'll see if we can hammer that out. So I got it a little bit better. I guess we'll check out, see how it's going. So we're gonna set up, put more air to it, and see if it leaks again. So what I found leaking is this port right here on the throttle body. So I'll have to tear off the throttle body and check that out. But essentially you guys get the gist of it now. Simple setup, doesn't cost very much. If you have an air compressor, the fittings are cheap. The PVC end cap is readily available for whatever size turbo you have. Mine was even a little bit harder to find out because it was such a large inlet, but other than that, the smaller ones are even easier to find. So stay tuned, check in for more videos, and thanks for watching. See ya.